Good morning, everyone. And when I was waiting for the transport to get down to this cultural center, I felt instead of preparing a speech and delivering a speech that has been pre-prepared, I felt it was better to speak to you from the heart and to try and bring out a level of communication that will then get you, as the audience, to interact with me and to get to know more about Seychelles this way. We are in Berlin, and it is the time of the year when the world of tourism meets to keep their tourism industry visible and to keep the tourism industry relevant. What a better topic to raise today, therefore, than tourism, but tourism with a human touch to it. Every country in the world, every single country, claims to be the prettiest, the nicest, the most photographed, the friendliest, and essential today, the safest destination on earth. And if you go to ITB today, you will hear every delegation saying exactly the same thing. We are all better than the others. Everyone says it, believing that they are speaking the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. But it is for you, the people who go on holidays, those that make this effort annually to bring your family or your friends on a break, that knows why you choose a destination. Selling, or the art of selling, is the job of all tourism boards. But the art of buying a holiday, you have to know why you're doing it and which part of the world you are after. Today, I don't want to stand here and say everything about the laurels of Seychelles. Beautiful beaches, white, sandy, beautiful beaches. You all know that. I don't need to tell you that Seychelles probably has the nicest beaches of the world. It is known because it sits in the middle of an ocean with no factories because we are very small. Seychelles has a total population of 86,000 people. So with this, even if we wanted to dirty the beaches, we cannot do it. We have too many beaches and not enough of us. So we have probably the cleanest white sandy beaches that you can ever dream of. But these beaches are all, this is not what I wanted to show you. This is having more tortoises on the island. But when you talk about the turquoise blue seas that lap these white sandy beaches, Seychelles, they are not only turquoise, but they're also very clean and very clear. Because again, we have no factories, so nothing goes into the sea. And we don't have anything that can dirty the middle of an ocean to make it of a level that will be unacceptable for you to swim in. But Seychelles is blessed with another factor. It is a land that is year-round in summer. We are virtually on the equator, 4 degrees south of the equator, so we have all the benefits of an equatorial climate. So it is summer year-round. And we now say that it is blessed having perpetual summer. So it's a group of islands that we swim every day of the year, and in the seas that are as warm as can be, they are like a bath when you swim in them. But let's talk about tourism, and where we feel as a small country, with a tourism industry that remains today the pillar of its economy. Without tourism, the Seychelles economy would be dead. So we know fully well, to sustain and have a sustainable tourism development, we need to ensure that what we have today, what visitors come to see today, must be there for the future and must be there for posterity, for our children and grandchildren to also have a tourism industry. So that means that we have to become and we have to remain good custodians of what we have been blessed with. The pretty small group of islands in the middle of an ocean, 115 islands altogether, with a total population of 86,000. If we looked at your stadiums here in Germany, you could fit all of us together in the stadium and still have some seats empty. But we are still a nation. We're still part of all the grouping of nations. We still sit at the United Nations as a country on our own right. We were first settled by the French. They arrived, they discovered Seychelles. There were no one on the island apart from land tortoises that you saw and birds. And then 50 years later, we were conquered by England, so we became English. In 1976, we became an independent republic. Today, it is a fully fledged republic and members of the Commonwealth, members of the African Union, because we are part of Africa, and members of the United Nations. But the Seychelles tourism industry, as it remains the pillar of the economy, we need to look at it to ensure that the people of Seychelles benefit from it. We would have no sustainable tourism if you did not have an industry where the people of the islands also benefited from it. We never wanted to find them and us, where the businesses control the tourism industry and the people have no benefit from it. So 5 years ago, we brought out a claim to say that the Seychelles people must claim back the industry. We must involve our people into it so that the tourism industry is consolidated, and it is consolidated for the long term. In claiming back this industry, we brought out one terminology. It is a Seychelles brand of tourism. And the Seychelles brand of tourism highlights the need to see Seychellois in the forefront of the tourism industry, to see small businesses owned by the Seychelles people, at the same time that we keep inviting the large businesses to come in and invest in our country. But to make the tourism industry work, we need airlines, we need air access. We are positioned 2 hours away from the coast of Africa, or 2 hours away from Mauritius and Madagascar. So we are plunked right in the middle of an ocean with nothing else around us. This is why the logo of the islands a few years ago stated simply, unique by 1,000 miles, because it was 1,000 miles from anywhere. But today we are accessible as never before. We are accessible from the four corners of the world with one stop by air, and you are in Seychelles. We have the most services from Emirates or Etihad. Etihad is a partner airline of our Air Seychelles. But it goes further than that. We also have direct access to Germany because of Condor that flies there regularly on a regular schedule. Every Saturday morning it lands in Seychelles, departing here on Friday night. It is a 9-hour flight with only 3-hour time difference between Seychelles and Germany, the whole of Europe. But air access gives us that sustainable tourism framework, but we do not accept in Seychelles charter airlines because we don't want mass tourism. We are too small to develop a mass tourism approach because we want the islands to remain what they are today. And we want the people to know that tourism industry is not coming and overtaking them so that the people have nowhere to go. The beaches are all public, so you can stay in any small guest house or in any hotel. You get access to any of the beaches of Seychelles. We're doing that plainly because we don't want the people of Seychelles to feel that we're developing an industry that overtakes them and they've got no access to anything anymore. What we don't want in Seychelles is to see what has happened in different other countries of the world, where tourism is seen as something that the people do not want, and then you have violence against tourists, or you find tourists being robbed, or you find even tourists losing their lives. Seychelles, we want the people of the country to feel that it is part and parcel of their lives, so they protect it, they defend it, and they encourage it to grow. But what do you do in Seychelles when you come to the islands? This gives you an idea of the diversity that we have. But we take each of the high points of the island. This is the whale shark, if anybody has seen it. It's like a big cuddly bear where you can go and hold it and swim with it. It doesn't bite at all. It only eats plankton. It sucks in water and brings water out. But each niche market, we tend to go after it and develop it on a personal basis. We have diving, we have fishing, we have scuba diving or snorkeling. We have fly fishing for those that like standing in very shallow water and putting a hook in the sea with absolutely just a little bait that is not the artificial bait. We develop all these niche markets to ensure that anybody who wants a holiday with a difference can come to Seychelles and find a niche that will attract them. We have 115 islands, so a lot of them are still untouched with nobody on there. even though they are big islands. But we also don't want just to have development for the sake of development. We want things that suit us as a country. We want things that suit our people, and that will suit Seychelles in the long term. Seychelles has very strict laws for environment protection because it is the only way that our industry will be sustained for the future. I addressed 2 days ago the launch of the carnival in Düsseldorf because Düsseldorf participates in our carnival annually in April. And I had to laugh when I was addressing it, and I attempted to speak German. And it shocked the organizers of the carnival that a man from Africa, even though when you look at me, you don't think I'm from there, but a man born and grew up in Africa would attempt to speak German. And then I had to spend time to explain. When I was very young, there were no universities in our country. So we had to go around the world to learn. And when it was my turn to go and study hotel management at first, I had a bursary from Germany. So I ended up in Saarbrücken initially and then in Munich. And coming from La Digue, which has only 1,500 people, I was plunked here on the 3rd of January. Very young, I was 17, and having to learn German that I'd never heard of before. I knew where Germany was through geography, but I'd never met a German, I'd never spoken, never heard the language. Because we had 1,500 people and tourism was just starting in the country. And then I spent 3 years in Germany doing hotel management in German. But that was in 76, so it was a long time ago. But today, Seychelles prides itself on being multicultural, multi-ethnic, and multilinguistic. Everybody in the islands will speak Creole, which is our own language, also French, and also English. It is compulsory at school to learn the three, and it gives us that flair for languages, and it ensures that anybody who lands in Seychelles will be able to correspond to people, talk to people, and felt welcome. But because we have three languages as our base, people learn languages very easily. You find a lot of them will learn German or Italian or Spanish. So the tourists landing in our country feel very much at ease. I spoke about the protection of Seychelles. It is my duty to ensure that the hotel development doesn't surpass what the Seychelles can sustain. So we have very strict rules in how we accept hotels on a phased program. We go back into ensuring that the hotels that exist today have a refurbishment program to keep them in order. And today Seychelles prides itself to have some of the best hotels of the world because we have hotels that fit with any clientele. You all heard when the Prince and Princess of England got married some 2 or 3 years ago. The first country they'd pick way before the press were talking about where are they going on their honeymoon. We knew that they were coming to Seychelles and they'd already booked it through the ministry. But every other prince and princess from Norway, Sweden, they all end up in Seychelles for their honeymoon. And they do that not only because they are pretty islands, but because you can be yourself when you're in Seychelles. Paparazzis cannot know where you are, which island you're on. So you have that luxury of being who you are with your partner, of being not running away that you have a lot of cameras shooting onto you. And we went as far as making it a must because of some Hollywood stars that came on their own honeymoon to have a law against paparazzis. So we now protect it. So you cannot help a paparazzi find somebody and just go and take indecent pictures of them when they are enjoying themselves and taking a break in Seychelles. We are conscious that we need to keep abreast, we need to keep ahead if we want our tourism industry to survive for the country, because we are a socialist system of government where everybody has free medical, free education, free transport, and we need to ensure that we can sustain our tourism development to pay for all these necessities of our country. So if we want to do it in the long term, we have to ensure that our tourism development is progressive, that it also suits the islands. This is why 2 years ago we did a new tourism master plan, and that master plan tells me exactly how many beds we will develop annually and where we are going to go with it in the future. Today I'm finishing If you, on the corner on the top, there's a loop there, yeah. You're not talking German.
No,
God, you worried me that they taught me wrongly. In Saarbrücken, they didn't give me the right German. But no, it is important that we have the development that will suit us for the future. This is why now we're building a tourism academy in Seychelles so that we train people that we feel we need for the industry itself. But we don't have enough people in Seychelles to work in every hotel, to work in every business that we have. So yes, we import people to work in our country. And one of the campaigns, Australia did that a few years ago. The best job in the world is in Australia. They've already given the best job, so I'm going to advertise very shortly for the second best job. Come to Seychelles. So we will launch this in the carnival this coming April. But why do we branch and brought Seychelles into the world of events? A small country, plunked away from everybody. But we decided that the best way to have sustainable tourism on the long term is to have something that is only ours. And this is culture, it is our culture, and it is our people. So today we have a tourism marketing angle for the islands that is based on culture and that is based on people. The rest, the beauty and so on, comes because you know it is there. But the DNA that we have, that is only ours, is our culture, and is only our people. So you now see that through the events that we organize in Seychelles, one thing that goes to the forefront is the culture and the people of Seychelles. I think no country and no government has a right to be ashamed of their culture and a right to be ashamed of their people. So we need to put them in the forefront if we believe in that. This we're doing very well. And this year, again, we will stage our carnival in April. We don't follow the trend of carnivals that it is in that period before Lent. We do ours after, when all the other carnivals are done. And we bring to Seychelles every single carnival that is the best carnivals of the world to walk together one after the other. I spent time for the first time in Düsseldorf and saw your carnival. It is a nice carnival, so different to ours, because there you pass messages, political messages. And I wouldn't dare do that in Seychelles because I'll be opening a door for people to pass messages about me. So we do differently. Ours, you'll get Brazil Carnival coming in, Notting Hill from London, Düsseldorf itself, Trinidad and Tobago, Italy Carnival, the French Carnival. They all come together and they parade one after the other. So you see diversity, but we did not limit it to this. We brought in the cultural groups from different countries of the world. So this year, probably we got 24, 25 countries all together. So they parade together and you see that diversity of culture because we believe it is culture that develops friendship and it is people that gets us to connect together. So our carnival is the international carnival that is staged in April. But in October, we have something dearer to us, which is our Creole Festival, which is the Creole community of the world, comes together in Seychelles. And there's a lot of us that speak the same language. We sit in the Indian Ocean, but I can speak to New Orleans, which has also a Creole population. And it is funny for us to realize that we speak the same thing coming from two different parts of the world. Haiti, Martinique, Guadeloupe, we all speak exactly the same Creole. And history, or how we were all developed as colonies or departments, has given us a language that we today can correspond with. So in October every year, the world of Creoles comes together in Seychelles. And there we see diversity, that unity in Creole, but also the diversity of what makes a Creole people. But Seychelles was colonized or became alive with 5 branches. The people of our islands, and you see a lot of them here, came from 5 different branches. There's the French initially, Africa, British, and then India and China. But today we don't say there's a Franco-Seychellois or an Indian Seychellois. We just call Seychelles Creole people. And it is that unity through diversity that we have, where color, religion plays no part in what you are. You have to work at it, and you have to be good to be able to make your headway. It's easier for me than it is for you, unfortunately, because there's only 86,000, and here you have a lot of millions, so it is much, much harder for you. And this I appreciate, that we are blessed with a small population in our own country, that we can feel at ease to be ourselves. I will end up by but I'd really like interaction with you, because that's the way I tend to be. My working day in Seychelles, we start very early, gets very hot by midday, but it is standard. It is 27 degrees from the 1st of January to the 31st of December. It stays like that all day long. But we swim a lot being in the tropics, and we swim a lot being in islands. But we are blessed with one thing that you can't have. If I go to the beach and I see a group of 5, 6 people swimming, I'll go to the next one until I find one where I can be by myself, because we get a bit bigger over the age, and that you can swim, that nobody looks at you. So I can always find a beach in the prettiest beaches for me to sit on alone and swim to my heart's content. And this is what we call the Seychelles living, where you can be yourself, you can appreciate life, and really enjoy being on a tropical island. Thank you very much, but if you have any questions, feel free.
Thank you very much. Not so sunny here today, but let's imagine that we are all in Seychelles now.
Exactly.
If you allow me to say actually a personal comment, my sister lived in 5 months in Seychelles, and she always said it was the best 5 months of her life.
What did she do there for 5 months? God, I
I
thought I gave 3 months visas, but I didn't.
No, she was working in a project with tuna populations for the study of tuna.
But maybe I'll say one thing. You see, Seychelles is the one country of the world. We come to Germany, we feel that we are friendly to Germany. If I go to Kenya, I feel I'm very friendly with Kenya. So the one country we practice with, there's absolutely no visa requirements in Seychelles. Everybody is welcome. We ensure that you get the 3 months stay on arrival, or 1 month and then you renew it for another month, but it is just a stamp in your passport. We believe that if you are my friends, and you are the friends of Seychelles, we don't need to give you a visa to come and visit us. You can come any day to visit us. And that gives us an added advantage. People who decide very late to go on a holiday can book a ticket and get to Seychelles tomorrow morning. It is quite fine with us.
So tomorrow morning we still have conference, but Saturday I'm certainly maybe looking over that.
Be a pleasure to welcome you.
Okay, now it's open for you guys. Questions, comments? Yeah, coming there? So ladies first.
Hello, my name is Natalia. I'm from Poland. I have a question similar as at the previous speech. Is there any dangers for the tourists when they come to Seychelles? Like, should we be afraid of unexpected danger in the country?
Unless you're afraid of me. No, Seychelles is, in one way, it's another blessing we have. When it was discovered, the only animals that are on the Seychelles are land tortoises that you saw them, and then we have a lot of fish and many, many birds. But none of these are dangerous. We have no snakes. We have no wild animals. But these are fish, and they are actually very friendly. I've swum in these seas all my life. From a very toddler, I was in the sea, and I've swum with every of these big whale sharks that you see. They are the nicest animals to swim with. But let me give you a joke. About 8 years ago, or 10 years ago, I was working at one island, one hotel resort. And arrived a person with a very young boy who swam very well. And he told me, I understand you've got whale sharks here. And I said, yes, and I'll get the diver to take you. And he said, I want one spectacular picture. I said, well, we don't really want people to climb on their back because but if you're going to do it for a spectacular picture, please just don't hurt them. Don't try and, because they are just, they just sit there. They won't do anything. He managed to get his young son they swim with their mouths wide open to back flap until he gets into the mouth of the shark. And then when he did that, when they pull in water, they pull a lot of water, and then they push it out, it comes like a jet. And then the son, but they must have done it somewhere else because he got himself ready with his two arms this way. And he came out as a cannon when he came out. So when the diver told me, he says, this is what they did, they are mad. I went to the father, I said, next time you're going to do that, tell me. I'll prepare a mobile phone. I'll give it to your son in a plastic bag. In case that thing swallows him, he can phone me to tell me where he is inside the stomach. And then I can find a way to cut a little hole and pull him out. But he had one of these pictures that is spectacular. But the son was very brave to let himself be dragged in and then pushed out. But it shows you how friendly they are. I call them the swimming teddy bears. But we have nothing to hurt you in Seychelles.
And the climatic wilds or people that could...
The climate in Seychelles is the most friendly because you swim year-round. We have sun year-round. We have some rain. But there are sudden showers in December, January. Tropical showers. They last 10 minutes and then they stop. You can have sun immediately after that. People are the most friendly people because it's a mix of populations. You see, when you have these 5 branches, France, Africa, England, China, and India, mixed together like a big salad bowl, you have the nicest, friendly people that you can think of. So nothing will hurt you. You can come single or with your partner. You'll enjoy it anyway.
Let's take these 2 last questions and then together and then we can...
Sure. Hello, my name is Tommy from Freie Universität Berlin. And I just wanted to ask, as you're such a small population, I guess you have to import a lot of the things that you offer for your tourist population and also for your own population. And how I would like to ask, how can this be a challenge for a tourist industry if you can, if you not have the possibility to produce a lot of the things you're selling? Thank you.
An excellent question to try and explain to you. Anything that is fish or sea related, we don't have to import because we don't freeze fish in Seychelles. We eat it fresh. Every day the boats will come in and we choose the fish we want. It'll all be still moving in the boat and we get as fresh fish as possible. So the tourists enjoy fish or anything seafood. But you made me smile because often you meet somebody and when I host them for a dinner, and these are officials coming from different parts of the world, I say, would you like to have a tuna steak? He looks at me and says, no. I said, well, have you eaten a tuna steak? He says, no. I've seen them in little tins in shopping centers. But for us, a tuna is a big fish, and we cut them into steaks. They are like having a big steak, and by cooking it right, you'll enjoy it as if you were having one of your beef steaks around here. It's the same texture, but it has to be cooked perfectly. So fish is not imported at all. But if you go into things that we have to import, meats obviously, because we have mountains, we don't have enough flat area, so we import beef, and we tend then to grade where we're getting it from, and we tend to have the good grades of imports to the country. We sit in the middle of the ocean, but we'll get beef from New Zealand. And I know I often fight with the import people. We import chicken from Brazil, so you can imagine it has to fly all the way across the world to get to us. But it is vegetables, we bring it from different areas of the world. We tend to grow soft vegetables in Seychelles through hydroponics now. But Seychelles, we don't want to develop areas where we use heavy fertilizers because it'll end up into the soil and then ends up into the sea. And then we have other complications because a lot of our tourists come to enjoy the coral that grows in Seychelles. They are like, the minute you put your head under the sea, even if you stand up with a mask on your face, you think you're in an aquarium. The amount of fish and the amount of coral growth that we have. So we tend to be quite strict about not allowing heavy chemicals to be used in Seychelles because that has other effects on the country. But the planning of it is done. We've got a Seychelles government body that ensures the prices are steady, so they don't have commercial businesses that fluctuate the prices of the island. So we have a base where they will import, so the other private sector has to be cheaper or slightly more expensive depending on quality. So the prices are fairly steady. It is a challenge, but it's a challenge that we live with, and we are able to make it work.
Hi, my name is Maria. I just wanted to say that at least I always associated Seychelles with luxury tourism. And I can say, I think I speak for everyone here, that you convinced us to go to Seychelles. But is there a low budget option? Would you recommend this as a destiny for young people who can afford these hotels?
Okay, unfortunately for Seychelles, and this is one of the sad things, before my era, the perception created that Seychelles was only for the rich people or the peoples of the world. Yes, we have them. They come in droves. We have hotels that will surprise you that cost an average of 6,000 euro a night. But this is not the only type of hotels we have. We have what we call the homegrown hotels, and the homegrown hotels are for the normal people that want to come out and appreciate paradise at the end of the day. Can you come as a single young person? Yes. And why should you come? Because it is very safe. It is a place where you can rent a mini moke, these open little cars, and drive around, let your hair flow in the wind, and you'll find that you will be totally at ease and enjoy it fully.